For a long time, people thought that bullies were the result of learning behaviors, basically learning how to interact with people in a negative way. And in fact, there is some evidence that a group of bullies are those people. And we call those bullies bully victims. Those are individuals who are both bullies and victims. And we think what's happened to those individuals is by being victimized, they have learned to then use that behavior against other children. Unfortunately, they're a relatively small percentage of children. They're only about 10%. The other 90% of bullies are what we call pure bullies, and those bullies don't seem to show any kind of social deficits, any kind of cognitive deficits, so they have the good social skills, they're just using them in a bad way. One of the key things to think about when you want to change a behavior is, why is the person doing this? And for a long time, surprisingly, bullying research didn't look at this question. So one of the things that I really wanted to ask when I came from this adaptive perspective was, what's in it for bullies? So most of the research is focused on popularity, and it now seems to be the case that bullies who engage in bullying for long periods of time end up getting more popularity, more social power. So we were interested in whether this translated into getting more dates and having more sex. And our preliminary research shows that yes, in fact, they do have more dates, but particularly the data is really clear for sexual behavior, and that bullies, either as young adolescents or as university students, are getting more sexual partners and are less likely to be virgins than both victims and people who aren't involved in bullying. One of the real problems with existing bullying efforts is they don't work. There's some successful projects in Europe. One of them relies on really heavy punishment at every level in the country, and the problem with that is it's very expensive, and the second you stop doing it, it stops working. Another program looks at getting peers to be involved and trying preventing bullying, and that seems to be successful, but it doesn't work for the most powerful bullies. It makes sense. The popular kids aren't going to be influenced by what unpopular kids say about them. So we have this real gap. And here in North America, our best efforts have been around zero tolerance, where we have no tolerance for bullying. And the problem with those is they rely on punishing bullies, and bullies are really good at not being detected. So you're essentially saying, we're going to punish you, but we won't know about it, so they're not going to be punished. So give up this behavior that's benefiting you for nothing. And of course, bullies say, no, I'm not going to give up this behavior for nothing. You can't catch me. And so we need a different approach that's going to actually try and address the problem, rather than just simply have a one-size-fits-all that isn't fitting anyone. So what we're interested in looking in is, does working with their incentives, so a child who's motivated to gain status, what if we give them a better way of getting to that status, a pro-social way of getting that status? Will this reduce their bullying? Early evidence seems to suggest we're on the right track with this, but we're going to wait and see for the final results.